I have to really apologize from the bottom of my heart for my last video. Okay, are you ready for this, guys? This is what you call one-of-a-kind resin art. It was all wrong. I did everything wrong. You simply cannot get that kind of effect and result with anything else. That's insane. Right, we are back with another epic resin art video. I have to really apologize from the bottom of my heart for my last video. Some 40,000 of you tuned in and watched it, and it was all wrong. I did everything wrong. So the last video, 307, if you haven't watched it, go and check that out first. That's how we kind of discovered this new technique. So we created these really incredible pieces using alcohol inks in PVA glue. Again, if you haven't seen it, go and check it out. It was a really cool discovery. Now, why do I need to apologize? Well, because it's just got a lot better. Patience, guys. Patience is key. I know I touched on this towards the end of the video, the last video, but we need to wait a little bit longer. And I've done some experimenting over the week since I filmed that video, and we can get such amazing results with just a little bit of patience. So stick with me, guys. If you did see that last video, still watch this one all the way through, because there's going to be some tweaks and changes. So we are only going to be using the white PVA glue, not the clear, for this. And I've just got, these are coin capsules, plastic. It's really easy to peel any dried PVA glue out of these. Word of warning, another apology, because this can stain your molds. If you're doing this in old molds, I mean, yeah, peach red is known for this anyway. But yeah, I'd suggest using something that's rigid, hard plastic. And these are ideal because I can fit my cabochons when it comes to dipping in these, and they're only small, so I'm not wasting too much PVA glue if the ink part doesn't work. So I'm really excited. I'm absolutely loving this. So all I'm going to do again with this is just pour a small amount of PVA glue into each of these. I'll do two. I'll only show you one, but I might do some more off camera. You can see them all at the end, so you don't need much. And we just spread all that around until it's self-leveled. Now, I'm finding the results for this very similar to the Petri effect. I think this is the next best thing since the Petri effect. I mean, if you're not sure what the Petri effect is, we drop our alcohol inks in epoxy resin and then use a sinker white alcohol ink, which gives this texture. Now, in my history of doing resin, I have come across quite a few people that don't like that textured effect. Now, this gives a very similar result, but it hasn't got that textured effect. And it's also given us a way to use alcohol inks in UV resin that we couldn't before, because many of you know, if you drop alcohol inks on the back of UV resin, then try to cure it, it just becomes a yucky mess. So I'm loving this. It really does. It is the next best thing since the Petri effect, and it's quicker. And again, for this, I'm using the Let's Resin 26 ink alcohol ink set. All links and discount codes in the description box below. Just click more. Okay, so as soon as your PVA glue, let's move that one out of the way, has leveled out, I'm going to show you this combo. It's a really stunning combo, and we end up with about 4 or 5 different colors just from these, using these two. Let me adjust my focus, that would help. Peach red and cerulean. So just going to drop a couple of drops of cerulean in, and then grab my peach red and then just go in the spaces like so. Really easy one, this. Now what we do is we wait longer. I've actually done this piece here that I showed you. I dipped this the following day, so I left my glue overnight. So it is possible, but it will depend on your room temperature. But you can leave this for quite some time. before it starts to go hard on the surface. But just keep coming back and just checking it, you'll get used to it. But the interesting thing is with this, the longer we leave it, it appears to create cells, and you'll see that shortly. So I'm not going to touch this, I'm not going to stir it, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to put that aside and come back to it in, well, I don't know, about an hour. So during that hour period, all of the alcohol ink is the alcohol from the alcohol ink is going to evaporate, leaving just the color on the surface, and the glue is going to begin to thicken up. So when it comes to stirring it, we're going to get a much more defined effect. I'm just using my pencil as a pointer here. Just don't stick it in there, Daniel. I'm tempted. But you can already see these kind of cells forming, and these will change as the alcohol evaporates. It really is cool. So yeah, I'll see you shortly. One thing I haven't tried, which we're going to try in this as a separate little experiment, is what happens if I add my alcohol inks to this one after an hour or so. Again, I'm going to let you know the timings. I'm wondering if it spreads less, so we can cram quite a lot of colours into the one piece. We'll find out. Okay, so these have been sitting for about 90 minutes. Not 19, 90, an hour and a half. I'm going to put this one aside. We'll try that in a minute. I don't know if it's going to make any difference, but we're going to just stir in a design on this one now. So there is still some movement on the surface. Again, like I said, you can leave it longer if you want. And I think if you did this in like a container with a lid, you know, do you know what I mean? you could probably, it wouldn't set for a few days, I don't think. I think it would be good to keep reusing and keep adding your inks. You can see there's a skin there, but just don't worry about it. You'll see it's keeping the design so much better than what it was in that previous video. Sticky. So much better. So, I mean, you don't even need to stir it. If you're happy with the design before, you don't even need to do this part. But I do like, you know what I'm like with my swirl patterns. So now I'm just going to go the other way. You're probably saying, no, Dan, leave it as it is. I don't care, I'm doing it. And that is good to go. That is good to dip now. But we're going to put that aside, and we are going to see if inks behave differently on the surface of the glue that's been sitting here for an hour and a half. I don't want them to spread. I want them to kind of stay where I put them so I can cram in. No, maybe I need to wait longer with that then. I don't know. I'm going to carry on anyway. That's a sapphire blue with a magenta. That's a shame. I was hoping that I could kind of cram in as much colour as I can. That was a yellow. Let's go with a peach red here. But the only pain with this idea, see the peach red is kind of sitting there. There it goes. Yeah, I now need to wait longer for this. So maybe this is just not a good idea anyway. Because you're going to have to wait even longer now for the inks to evaporate. That was an orange. What else can we go in with? Let's go with a purplish red down here, and hopefully I can cram in one more colour. Or two, possibly. Let's go with a normal red there. And I'm going to risk it, and I'm going to try a cerulean in the centre. Hopefully, there we go. So I'm now going to wait for this one to evaporate. So we are good to dip with that. So all I need to do now is just make some resin cabochons very quickly with some UV resin. Again, you could do this with epoxy, it doesn't have to be UV resin. And again, we're using the Let's Resin UV clear hard type. I'm just going to do a few different ones because I might do some more off camera. Again, as flush to the rim of the mold as you can. I'm just going to give that a minute or two under the base. Now, I've had this lamp now for coming up to 1 year, and I know lots of you have already gone out and got this. I know lots of you are already ordering for Christmas. I've had quite a few messages and comments regarding the lamp. People have received it and they love it. Again, the discount code for this is in the description. It is expensive. It's not a cheap lamp, but it's got 50,000 hours lamp life. I mean, nearly a year. I've noticed no difference, no loss in UV power. So if you're getting sticky resin or your resin's not curing properly, your lamp could have expired. So it looks like it's working, but the UV potential is kind of gone, or you've lost it. So the bulbs lose their power. With this, I've noticed no difference in the last year. The battery, I can still recharge it. It still lasts me a long time. No difference at all. I mean, check out the comments. You'll see people who have already got this, and you'll see what they also think too. And if you want more info on this, like a proper unboxing, kind of knowing all the details of this, go and check out video 221. It's all in there. Okay, we can now pop that out. And again, these are brilliant. The Let's Resin hole makers, suction cap thingies, you know what I mean. Stick that on there, and then we can use that to dip in and pull out. Now watch this. So I really do apologize for the previous video, but you know, it was a kind of experiment as I went along. So things change, things are going to change the more we do it. So I apologize, but at the same time, it's evolved already in a week. Now watch the difference when I place this on the pattern. See the difference. The way that's holding, it's not smearing, it's not smudging. I can now lift that up. Whereas before, we were kind of losing some of the pattern. So I can now take that off, the suction sticky hole maker thingy. And again, just leave that somewhere level to dry. Now, because we've let the PVA thicken up a bit, we can go in again. Just swirl in another design if you want. Or add some more inks and then set it aside again. But what you could also do is, sorry, my focus is going. Like I was saying about like a sealed container. If it's big enough, you could drop lots of inks over the surface and wait for it and then just dip all over the place. Do you know what I mean? I know I said it stains, but I'm using this as an example. So I could cover that with my inks, put it to one side, come back an hour and a half later, swirl in all my designs, and then just go at it with lots of cabochons in lots of different places and just utilize the whole surface area. It's genius. So going back to this one, it's only been less than 5 minutes since I added the inks. I think because we waited for the glue to thicken, the alcohol evaporates really quickly. I think this is probably ready to go. So we don't necessarily need to wait another 90 minutes. We can just stir in straight away pretty much. We didn't get the cells like we did. Maybe it depends on the colours. I'm going to go the other way as well. As always, massive shout out to my channel members, anyone who's bought me a coffee or a super thanks, and to all of our subscribers, thank you very much appreciated. And with this one, I'm going to go in with an oval. Now, if you do get these coin capsules, the oval only fits in the lid part. It won't fit inside this one. The hearts do, but the ovals only fit inside this one here, so bear that in mind. I don't know what way to go. Do I go to the pattern sideways? I'll capture more of the colour. Oh no, I just dipped it in there by accident. Yeah, I think I'm going to go capture some of that yellow up there, because if I go there, it's not really going to show. So Will it keep its pattern? It is. Look at that. I was wondering if I'd lose it because I didn't wait for the inks for long enough, but look at that. That's incredible. Loving this. So this is one that I'm not quite happy with after dipping it because it was getting quite shallow. So another good thing about this is if you're not happy, you just wipe it off with gloves, preferably. Clean it all off. And then we can just use that again. Another quick tip is I've just dipped this. You can very quickly turn it over to have a peek, but don't hold it over for too long, just to see if it's good enough. Okay, it is the next day. All of these are perfectly dry now. We have 6 in total. I'm going to finish them off camera. If you haven't, again, seen that previous video on how we finish these, go and check it out. But one important thing that I will quickly show is that when we dip it, as mentioned before, we're going to have some PVA glue over the front or sides of the cabochon. Now, if I was to go and peel that away, it's also going to peel the backing off. So again, just with the edge of my scissors, I'm going to go and score the very edge of the cabochon to separate any of the PVA from the front to the back. There you go. It just peels away really easily. I'm not going to go in with the nail powders on this one. I'm just going to do them all white just to make the colours pop. Yeah, so I will show you the results in a moment. Do I show the dipping? I might show the dipping just so you can see the results as I'm dipping it. I love doing that, and I think many of you love seeing it. So I've backed them, I've sanded them, they're ready to dip. As always, inside this little black pot here is the Let's Resin UV Clear Hard Type. Again, everything is explained on how I do all this in the previous video. Now, I said I had 6. One of them was actually the one that I showed you at the beginning. I'd mixed it up with the others, so I've actually got around to finishing it. But it has got an issue, and I'll talk about that issue when we get to it. So I want you to pick your favourite, okay? I know it's going to be hard, but I've put them kind of in order, I think, of my favourites. So let's begin. Number 1. Just let that excess drip off. There we go. That is number 1. Now, number 2 is the one that I said has got an issue. I don't know whether you can see it already. I'm hoping it's not going to be that visible, but it's all a learning curve. Okay, let's see how bad. You can't really see it until you hit a certain light. There you go, can you see it? In the top right corner. It peeled away slightly. So, like I said in the previous video, I'd back these before you sand them. And I didn't realise, well, I forgot my own advice. I sanded it before I backed it, and you can see, I didn't realise it had peeled away slightly. But it is only just visible in certain light, so just bear that in mind. Okay, in goes number 3. I know this is going to be really hard to pick a favourite. Okay, the colours are really popping. The design is so much better than my previous video. So again, don't follow that video, follow this one. I'm loving this area up here. We had a tiny little bubble in the PVA, but it just adds to the uniqueness, I think. So in at number 4 is an oval. We have a heart shape left and another oval. The heart shape one, I tried something very different. Let's see if you can spot it. Okay, what do we get? That is incredible. You see those blue areas? See, this is giving me planet vibes. You know when you see the storms on the planets? It really is incredible. I'm loving this one. Not my favourite though. Now the next two, I'm really torn. I'm really not sure. It's so difficult. So this is the one with something different that I've tried. Again, guys, hit that sub button if you haven't already. Help the channel grow. Okay, let's see if you can spot it. Such a unique way of stirring. Can you see it? Okay, the last one, number 6. This one could be my favorite. I'm loving this brand new way of creating such stunning resin art pieces. Okay, are you ready for this, guys? This is what you call one of a kind resin art. That is phenomenal. You simply cannot get that kind of effect and result with anything else. That's insane. So yeah, that brings us to the back of to the end to the end of this video. So in the space of a week, we've gone from this, which, don't get me wrong, it's still nice, but again, it kind of blurred out the effect as we were pushing the resin on the fresh PVA glue, to this. I mean, what a transformation. Much crisper lines. The colors, I think, are more vibrant because they stand out, you know, alone. If you can see, like, there's stripes of green there. It really is an incredible new way to create resin art. If you've got a channel and you try this, tag me. I want to see what else we can do this with as well. So I'm calling this something really simple. I didn't have a name before. Now just PVA dipping. I think it's the easiest and quickest. It just makes sense, doesn't it? PVA dipping. Really unique way. The dipping finish on these cabochons is, you just can't match it. And again, it's necessary to do that with this technique. You do need to dip. And did you see it? With the heart in the center. I need to perfect it, but I'm not overly happy with the colors in that one, but it was just to see the design. And this one, it's a shame about that top corner, but lesson learned. I love the colors in this one. So yeah, hope you're enjoying this. Let me know in the comments, what have you tried? I can't remember her name, but one viewer said that they actually left their cabochon in the glue to dry. It did give a similar result, but she said it did take longer for the glue to dry. So I think this is such a unique way. Again, most stuff you've already got in your craft rooms. Yeah, I think there could be new things to unlock with this. Maybe try metallic inks. I don't know. This is just the beginning of something wonderful. But look at that. That is incredible. I haven't finished off the backs yet, but as a pendant or wire wrapped, that is stunning. Okay, that is enough from me. Yeah, interact with the video, share it to all your resin friends, your family, anyone. I will see you for the next one. Bye for now.